कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भुरिदा जनाः। After a span of 3 weeks, we are meeting again to resume our discussion on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna on the occasion of his public birthday celebration on Sunday, the 22nd of February 1885. It appears in the third volume of the original Bengali presentation, 316.3, Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. In the second volume of the Hindi translation, Sri Ramakrishna Vachanamrit, chapter 106, 206.3, and under chapter 36 of the chronologically presented English translation, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. In this congregation, there was both the young spiritual aspirants, those who were to embrace monastic life, and also a set of devoted householders. We have been discussing Sri Ramakrishna's advice to the householders, how they can discharge their family duties, professional activities, and at the same time keep their mind fixed on God. This is important because we usually feel that discharging family responsibilities and maintenance of spiritual life are not compatible. They don't go hand in hand, one or the other. So those who are engaged in worldly activities, they always feel that they should wait till their family duties are over so that they can devote their mind towards God. But this is wrong. Sri Ramakrishna never said that the realization of God is meant for the full-timers like monks. It is meant for all. So specifically, his teaching his devotees how to orient their life in order that they may realize God. And Suresh Chandra Mitra was the devotee to whom Sri Ramakrishna was advising. Because in this dialogue, Suresh Chandra asked this question that how he should live the family life. Let us recapitulate what he has already said. First, the advice he gave, please visit now and then, is not a tall order. This is meant for the householder devotees. माझे माझे एशो, बीच बीच में आते रहना. Now, though it is not difficult, but it should not be taken lightly. We feel that why is it necessary to go to a temple, to go to an ashrama? We can finish our job by having a telephone call or a video conferencing. Nowadays, we can attend our Google Meet or over internet. But the advice was, you visit the ashrama physically now and then. You will kindly agree that if you want to have the warmth of a fire, then you have to be physically close to the fire. You see the picture of fire, you see the video presentation of fire, you can see the illumination, you can see the brilliance, you can understand the way the fire is being burnt, but can you feel the warmth? आग का नजदीक नहीं जाने से उसका उत्ताप नहीं मिलेगा. सो श्री रामकृष्ण जो इधर संदेश दिए हैं, बीच बीच में आपको जो places of his worship has to be visited physically. First advice. If you follow his advice, then only you understand the effect. Secondly, he says that you cannot give up the world. You have to remain in the world. So your method of living, art of living, should be to renounce the world internally, mentally. Remain in the world externally, physically, but internally you remain detached. Do not get attached. What is the difference between attachment and detachment? One is that you leave that place, that is physical detachment. When you are leaving the world, that is physical detachment. But detachment does not mean only physical detachment. It has to be physical detachment and mental detachment. You may be physically away from an object of enjoyment, but you may be very much mentally attached to it. So that's specifically said in the Bhagavad Gita. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina raso varjam rasam pasya param dishta nivartate. If a person, he goes physically away from the objects of enjoyment, then he is not having any physical contact of the objects of enjoyment. Nevertheless, his attachment may continue in the mental level. He may think of the objects of enjoyment, so then he is attached. Physical detachment is not the solution. Solution is mental detachment, which is the householders are supposed to do. They are not required to be physically away from the objects of enjoyment. Definitely, they should be mentally detached. And the sannyasis should be both physically and mentally. Their job is different. So first was, you visit the places of pilgrimage now and then. Secondly, become mentally detached from your objects of sense pleasures. This is the second, this advice Sri Ramakrishna gave. And then he said that like King Janaka, you should do both work and worship. Should be done hand in hand. ज्ञान और कर्म दोनों साथ साथ होना चाहिए. Karma means whatever is designed, destined, God has given some set of works that you have to discharge. At the same time, we must have one dimension of keeping our mind attached to God. These two dimensions have to be done. And with the advice of Chaitanya Dev, he said three things. जीवे दया, भक्त सेवा एवं नाम संकीर्तन. Do some service to the poor and needy, number one. Secondly, keep the company of holy people, satsang होना चाहिए. And thirdly is repetition of God's name. These are the three prescriptions prescribed by Sri Chaitanya Dev, which is confirmed by Sri Ramakrishna. His advice. And then he gives a very golden advice that very easily you can fix your mind on God through the act of charity, dana. We discussed this point also, that in the Mahabharata it is written that in Kali Yuga the other sacrifices will not be in vogue. In previous cycles there will be lot of elaborate sacrifices, जिसको जाग कहलाता था. Elaborate havan sacrifice were prescribed. But in Kali Yuga, there is only one sacrifice is left, that is dana, charity. So when you do charity, then this great benefit is accrued in this yuga. Now, how it is effective, Sri Ramakrishna gave an example, which also we discussed. The example of the farmers in the villages, they have a problem that during rainy season, they, in order to hold the water, they keep their embankments little high. But during the rainy season, when the water is much more, then those embankments get totally inundated, broken, breached, and the entire water which was to be held in that plot of land gets wasted, cannot be stored. So, Sri Ramakrishna give an example. Now, when the water goes out, then during the summer, when the rainy season is not there, then the land will be without any water. So the crops will not grow. So you need the water. Water is needed. But you don't have the capacity to hold the water. This is the problem. The water is very much needed, but so much of water during the rainy season cannot be contained. So the embankments get, by the force of water, it will be broken. Water will go out on your own, on its own. Similarly, money. If we have too much money, then money will go away on its own. You don't have to spend. It's a wonderful philosophy Sri Ramakrishna is saying. As the rainwater in a field gets inundated by the force of water, you don't have to release the water. Suppose you want to hold it. The miser wants to hold the money, but it cannot. He cannot. वो भी यहाँ पर बताया. So the point to be understood is that as water is necessary to be kept stored in the field, so also money is necessary in our life to be stored. Whenever necessary, you can spend. But the nature of money is this, that it is spent on its own without your knowing. Wonderful. So there should be a method by which the additional amounts are stored and spent for our benefit only. It should not be wasted. So money has such a force that it goes away on its own. In order that it doesn't go, there is a technique, and that is charity. This we have to understand. So the analogy he gives, that when the water is stored in the rainy season in any field, then farmers, what they do, they keep some holes, they prepare some holes. From that hole, water goes out. They make provision to release the water. They don't store the water. They make a provision that a part of the small portion of the water goes out. and while going out, the water gets obstructed. When the water gets obstructed, then the minerals, the positive values of that outgoing water is stored. The values are not water. So water has two aspects. One, that it helps us to achieve our goal at the time of our need. Number one. And secondly, that money leads us away. We unnecessarily spend in wrong things. So here Sri Ramakrishna gives a link that the farmer keeps the water and allows the water to flow out through some holes. इसको घो कहलाता है. Similarly, there should be a conscious, deliberate effort to part some of the money by charity. If it is not done, then Sri Ramakrishna says the water will drain out for 4 reasons, in 4 ways. Very intelligently he says, in 4 ways हमारा money खर्च हो जाएगा. You don't have to spend, it goes out. कैसे? First, he says that a person who has a lot of money spend a lot in the court, these litigations. He has to maintain the money, and always money cannot be retained with honesty and sincerity. So one has to take help of the court and try to save money. Number one. But they cannot. The lawyers take away the money. Secondly, that the money is stolen by thieves and dacoits. The money is stolen. This is a very normal experience. The हमारा धन का अपवाद हो, धन का अपहरण हो गया. Money is stolen. Thirdly, that the in medical expenses, you never know. Nowadays the medical is very high, sky high. If you don't have the insurance, then you have to pay from your pocket. So the money which you have hoarded for your enjoyment gets either spent by litigation or you get spent for the medical expenses, or it gets spent by, it gets stolen. And the fourth channel by which the money is taken away. So fourth channel is that money is kept for our heirs, our these siblings, our sons and daughters, or grandsons and granddaughters. So these people become automatic inheritor of your property. So they automatically take it away, and then if they are not this spendthrifty, they luxuriously spend the money away, squander the money. So the miser, with great hope and expectation, he hoards the money, but the money gets disappeared, money gets leaked out by these 4 methods. So ultimately he doesn't get the money. Money is taken away by someone else. So this is our Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, that we have to have the discretion that what are we doing, and then we can take this lesson that the money has to be properly utilized. On the other hand, if we make a charity, then what happens? There is a positive aspect of money also, as the water, flood water, has a positive aspect. One is it inundates the embankment. Secondly, that if it is retained, then the nutrition value, the ingredients, the solvents, they get deposited in the ground, and there is a bumper crop. So flood water, which was thought to be a great danger for the land, but with this technique it becomes a great benefactor. So we have to learn the technique by which we can make use of our resources for the best use of the term. So now he says that this work of charity is the saving factor. So the money has two aspects. One is good aspect and the bad aspect. What is the good aspect? By money you can help others. You can do charity. You have a sense of satisfaction that they have been able to help others. All persons are not endowed with the properties and money, so they cannot do. So the money has twofold action. One is enables you to do charity and help others and thereby earning a benefit. Secondly, that this money has to be utilized for the good sense of the term. So here the good aspect is the money is used in charity to help others. The bad aspect is the money makes us attached. This is difficulty. Our job is to remain detached. बताया पहले. We have to remain detached in the world. But the problem with money is we get attached and we get bound. इसलिए कहा जाता है अर्थ बंधन का कारण. But without earth you cannot do good works also. So what is the solution? If you have money, a portion of the money should be spent in charity, and the goodness of the work of making charity will take you to higher level up. This is the benefit of doing charity, that not only we are able to help others, we are able to help ourselves, because by charity we mean that this will have no adverse effect on our life. Charity saves us from the adverse effect of money, which makes us attracted and take us away from God. With this, Sri Ramakrishna is giving a twofold solution for the householders. He said there are two ways of getting attached, getting united, getting connected with God. Our goal is to get connected with God. You have to understand all. Remember this. हमें भगवान से जुड़े रहना है. ये हमारे जीवन का लक्ष्य है. केना भी उपाय ना, by whatever method possible. Our goal is to get attached with God, get connected with God. ईश्वर के सान्निध्य में रहना है. To remain in the company of God. So to remain in the company, he said there are two ways. One is karma yoga, another is this mano yoga. What is meant yoga? Yoga means union. So the union of the individual self with the divine self, Jiva and Ishvara, this जुड़ना, युक्त होना, इसको योगा कहलाता है. Yoga has broadly two types of yoga. One is karma yoga, another is mano yoga. Sri Ramakrishna is explaining what is meant by karma yoga. He says that पूजा तीर्थ जीव सेवा, फॉलोइंग गुरु का उपदेश पालन करना, ये कर्म योग है. सिंपल. कर्म योग डज नॉट मीन टू डू फिजिकल लेबर ओनली. वी आर हैविंग ए रॉन्ग कॉन्सेप्शन. वी थिंक कर्म योग मीन्स डूइंग वर्क. दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ इट. हियर श्री रामकृष्ण सेज इवन वर्शिप इज अ पार्ट ऑफ कर्म योगा. Very clearly he has said. We say karma means doing some physical or mental work, and worship is calling on God, that is something else. No. Karma yoga means puja, karma, सब कुछ included है. Puja, तीर्थ, जीव सेवा, going on a pilgrimage. When you visit a temple, we visit an ashrama, this is part of karma yoga. You are using your body and mind to be connected with God. So whatever we do, work, towards that end is karma yoga. Doing work for being connected with God, that is karma yoga. And what is work? Whatever you do, you talk, you hear, you are going, you are traveling, whatever you do, that you are doing as your effort to be in touch with God. That is karma yoga. Do it either by worship or vigil or fasting, visiting temples, going to pilgrimages, doing charity, whatever you do, that is karma yoga. And he clearly says, Janaka adi karma yoga kiya tha. Now, whatever work was done by Janaka is called karma yoga. Now, who is this Janaka? He is a king. A king is not this monk. A king is not an anchorite in a jungle. Where does the king live? In a kingdom, in a palace. And what does he do? He manages an estate. He runs the show. He has to run a big kingdom. So whatever he is doing is called karma yoga. Now you can include everything. The king's duty is everything. To run a kingdom is not a joke. So if all the activities of Janaka is karma yoga, then whatever we are doing is a part of karma yoga. And then what is the second variety, mana yoga? That also Sri Ramakrishna explains with an illustration. And the yogis, they remember God. The rishis think of God in the evening, that is mana yoga. When you are not involved with any work, that mentally you are resigned at the feet of God, that is called mana yoga. You see, the rishis, the yogis, they do not do any work. They sit at a place, yogis, and mentally they think of God. And by that they attain meditation, then samadhi and all the lines. So by keeping in touch with God by mind alone is called mana yoga. Keeping in touch with God by body and mind is called karma yoga. The difference. With body, when you do meditation, you don't have to do any physical activity. You don't have to run here and there, do some physical. You are doing the work through mind only. Yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga means, mana yoga means keeping the mental modifications steady. मन को स्थिर करने का नाम ही योगा है, दैट इज मन योग. स्थिर करने के लिए आपको शरीर का कोई जरूरत नहीं, शरीर को स्थिर रहे. सिनम सुखम आसनम. The person quietly sits at a corner and mentally he is trying to control the waves of the mind, and that's how it becomes a part of the karma yoga. So mano yoga means be completely away from work. Physically you stick to a place and repeat God's name. Now, so the work of the kings like Janaka is called karma yoga, and the discipline of the yogis to quietly sit in a place and call on God is mana yoga. Now he says that you select any of the other. Depends on you, whatever is convenient for you. But for the normal people, karma yoga is more recommended because our mind is not so elevated, is not so exalted that we get engaged in the various activities and at the same time remember God. Our mind is not that strong. So for us it is better that whatever we do as an instrument in the hands of God and be happy. That is karma yoga, and that will lead us to God realization. That will get us directly attached with God, and that is the goal of life. Now, this topic is being further elaborated by Sri Ramakrishna, which we'll take up on in our next interaction. Niranjanam nityam ananta rupam bhaktanukampadhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. There is an announcement. There will be a short meeting for Durga Puja in the old shrine, and important announcement is this, that next Tuesday, day after tomorrow, we have a special program, unscheduled special program, that is puppet dance, Putul Nach. A party is coming from Rajasthan, Jaipur, very professional party. So they will make a presentation on the life of Swami Vivekananda the next Tuesday evening, 7:30 to 8:30. All of you are cordially welcome. It's a rare show in Lucknow. And from next week onwards, we have the series of pujas, Durga Puja, Lakshmi Puja, Kali Puja, etc. So our next Sunday will be Saptami. There won't be any class. And the following Sunday will be Lakshmi Puja. But Lakshmi Puja in the evening, so we'll have a gospel class on the 9th of October. And afterwards, there will be this Kali Puja, etc. The further announcement will be given. So next week we have the Durga Puja. All of you are welcome to participate in the Durga Puja festival. So now we close with the chanting of the Lord. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Thank you.